All right, y'all. Here we go. Let's jump on here and talk for a little bit. Get this mic turned up. There we go. All right, y'all. Jump on here and talk for a little bit. All right, sound good. All right. So yeah, man, I'm gonna still get back on at 7. I just wanted to kind of go back into a continuation of what I was talking about yesterday, about these fighters making improvements in experience. Like, I just want to kind of elaborate on what I mean by experience here, because not all the time I know, look, experience is one thing, but getting in there and just going through the motions is another, So we're going to do a little continuation. All right, I got about 7-8 people in here, so let's talk. Marcus Bell, what's going on? 2 Beasts, what's up? Yeah, I'm gonna still get back on here about 7 o'clock. I just wanted to jump back on here while I had a little bit of time, because I want to do a continuation, like some of the discussion we were talking about yesterday, and I'm narrowing it down to certain fighters here. Marcus said, yes, sir, by fighting the best, you sharpen your skills. Right. And that's what it's about, man. Like, yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it, because I'm going to be on here about half an hour. Yeah, about half an hour this time, because, I'm going to get back on at 7. But, yeah, I'm sticking with the flyweight division, man, because, we got a lot of fighters out here that, like I said, man, the media just continues to hype up. Everybody's ready to get the next big thing, or whoever they think is ready for the champion. But it takes time. People just don't understand it takes time to get there, So we can all have our favorite fighters, but at the same time, we just have to be honest. That's where I come from. I'm just like, I got to be real with it. Like, if certain fighters don't have that skill set yet, I'm going to be honest about it. That's why it's about sharpening up what you can, and just really trying to make them statements with every opportunity you're given. That's where I was getting at with a lot of these younger fighters yesterday. Like, I'll start with Montana. Montana, she's been in the game for a minute now. Like I said, had 3 years up on some of these other girls, starting in her early 20s, in the UFC. I think that's been more than enough time to really kind of develop. She's gotten more of a head start than some of these other fighters, right? Starting early with the tough house, building in that tough house, and getting a chance to have that pressure put on her early, and then going into, the UFC 3 years ago now. So it's like, that is more than enough time. That's more than enough time for what we need to see out of her, right? She's 26 now, and we're kind of seeing what level she is on just by how she's been executing, right? Like, some people say, okay, yeah, she's younger, she's still got youth on her side, but I think we've been seeing what we've been seeing from her, right? Because there's a certain level that she fights to. So yeah, like, when you really look at experience, it's all in what you take from it. Like me, when I mention experience, I'm talking about what you take from it and how it builds you as a fighter. Pretty much. I think having a lot of fights and not really learning from it, or just coming out the same fighter, or you still making the same mistakes, I can't really say that's experience. It's just the fact that you were there. That's kind of like how I look at it. So when I say somebody like Taylor or Manon, they show a little bit more and they've got that experience, I'm saying that they've been able to build and also sharpen their techniques, for the next level. Not saying that Montana doesn't have technique. She does, but it's still on a certain type of level. Same with Casey O'Neill, right? And there's no problem with that. again, they're younger than these fighters. So, again, age is not a big factor, right? Age isn't always a big factor, but maturity is. I think as she got older, she matured as a fighter and developed. That's the one thing I'm always trying to stress to people. Not just these fighters, just everybody. Like everybody from Valentina before she was the champion. You have to kind of go and look at what they took from all of these past fights. Like, I think the perfect way to look at it is like, let's look at who has the most wins in the flyweight division. Valentina, Caitlin, and Jillian, right? But who would you say has a great deal of experience? Who would you say has the greatest deal of experience, and who's really learning from their wins as they rack them up? I think, Marcus, you know that, right? You know the answer to that. I mean, it kind of goes by the order. The champion, in her 8 wins, she's definitely showed you through her performances. Then Caitlin, she would be next because she's number 2. Then there's Jillian. She's got, 7 wins in the flyweight division, 3rd most. But they're still on a certain level because she's not ranked, right? Marcus said, yeah. Also, you can go back based on Montana's fights and tough outside of the UFC and kind of determine her ceiling. Yeah, you can. I mean, my thing is, it's not over. It's definitely not a bust for her, but time is kind of ticking. Once you had 3 to 4 years to work and that opportunity given to you, and you still haven't raised your ceiling to a point where, like, Andrea Lee's is or so on, it's kind of hard to say that your ceiling's going to get any higher, right? But the fighters on this list, well, I won't say this list, just this picture here, kind of looking at them here because I feel like they have to really sharpen tools and make some statements. They've got to over the next few fights. AM said, do you think they'll re-sign Chikagan? I think they should. I mean, I don't know. They should, though. They need to. They need to re-sign her because they need that test for the division. Marcus said, yep, Jillian has beaten a lot of fighters, but when it comes to quality, it goes to Caitlin and Valentina. Yeah, and that's all I'm saying. Like, we can say this person has this many wins, okay, 9 or 10, but then we have to look at the quality. And that's what I always talk about with my experience statements. I'm talking about this person here is more polished because they've gained a lot more based on the quality they fought. Like championship fights, even on a regional circuit. Even on a regional circuit, that still counts for something because they're professional fights. Brian Williams, what's going on? But yeah, you're right, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, she beat a lot of fighters, but it's all about the quality here. Because with those 7 wins, I'm thinking, like, I wish 7 of them were 2 or 3 of them, 4 of them were at least like top 10s. But let's see, sharpening these tools, man. Montana, she's definitely like one that really needs to. She's got to sharpen up and make some statements, man, here because the clock is ticking. 26, but it's still ticking. Sooner or later, I think the UFC is going to start. I think they're even going to start weeding out some of the unranked fighters. I mean, what do you think? Like, even with Sarge, like, it's ticking right now. Fighters like Sarge, Montana, Jillian, even Mandy Bohm, to me, I think they all have to go in there and erase those past performances. They got to start working. Now, granted, Montana, she had her last fight was a good win over Ariane Lipsky, but now she's fighting a ranked opponent. What's going to happen? I mean, we've seen time and time again where she steps up against the Andrea Lees and the Viviana Rujos. They tend to, just outclass her. But is she going to put it together? Like, is her jab going to be sharper? Is her stand-up going to be sharper? Is she going to take the experience that she has and go back and say, okay, I need to stop doing this and I need to do more of this? Because that's what it all comes down to for Montana. It's about saying, okay, this is what I did wrong. Let's not do that anymore. But when you looked at the Ben Silva fight, there were still moments where she was still doing things the old way, right? And it's like, I'm not making this stuff. I'm just going by the fights I see in the actual factual, you know? So when I see Montana do this and still come up short, the answer's right there in front of your face. You know, for her as a fighter, it's like, okay, this is what we can do. You know, and it's not about just making changes for the sake of changes. It's about making improvements. That's what I need to see. All right, hang on here. Yeah, quality over quantity. I've always been saying that. So with Macy Barber, this is her chance, man. This is her chance to go in there and go say, look, we got the we got the better ground game. We got the better technique than her. Let's go in there and outclass her. Because I think this could be the first fight where Montana could go in there and outclass her opponent. You know, that was outclass a ranked opponent. You know, I think it comes down to the quality too, but it's definitely an opponent that she could go in there and possibly submit or stop. I mean, that would be big for her. Be the first person to stop Macy, and then earn a ranking, possibly number 13. So yeah, or she probably get to 15, right? They might give her number 15. All right, hold on, cause let's see. Because I'm just looking at her past resume here. Yes, she'll go in there and destroy a certain level of fighters with her skill set. You know, she'll go in there and do it. I mean, even that Rachel Ostovich fight was kind of close, though. You know, she kind of came from behind the back and just scored a good win. But there have been moments early on in her career where you kind of like, uh-oh. You know, with that defense, too. So in here with Macy, she's got tools. She just needs to make sure they are sharp. If they're not sharp, Macy's gonna go in there and capitalize. So she has to go in there and be sharp and look for a big win. You know, stop the ranked opponent. Can't be a draw. Can't be a split decision. It's got to be something big here. And she can fully take advantage of everything here because she's big. She's durable, strong. Like I said, ground game and clinch game is better. Looking like a bantamweight half the time, you know. So this is her opportunity. Ernest said, what if Montana gets stopped by Macy? It's possible. If she was to get stopped, I mean, it's very much a possibility she could get cut. I mean, they might give her another chance. I mean, 12-6. Let's see. How many losses has she had in the UFC? Only 2. So she might not. But don't be surprised. I mean, they're not thinking of re-signing Caitlin. Caitlin's on a win streak. So if Chikagan doesn't get re-signed, I think nobody's really safe unless you're the champion. I mean, if she goes in there and gets stopped, I mean, she'll be on the chopping block, if anything. But it's possible. It is possible. But it's possible she could submit. I think the possibility of her getting stopped is just as high as Macy getting submitted, right? Then we got another fighter here. Let's look at Marina Moroz. Marina Moroz. There's another fighter, like sharp, but it's going to have to be sharper. Because all the while she's taking this time out, you know, a lot of these girls are getting better. And the fighter she's facing in Agapova is somebody on the next level. Like Agapova is part of this evolved WMMA world now. You know, Marina Moroz is coming from the old school a little bit. You know, she's coming back from all the way to 2013. You know, she made her debut almost 10 years ago. And, you know, she was looking sharp against fighters like JoJo and what's her name? Who she beat? Danielle Taylor? Yeah, Danielle Taylor and fighters like that. Had a close fight, I think, with Carla. Well, Carla beat her. You know, Carla did beat her. You know, but early on she was looking promising because they was talking about Marina Moroz at the time fighting Joanna, but she lost that flame. And ever since then, she's just been not losing, but she's been pulling out of fights. She's been canceling fights. So Marina Moroz is a fighter that needs to come back, make sure she's sharp, and she has to make a statement. Because with as many cancellations as she's had, she could be cut. Because they're not going to wait around for a fighter like this that always pulls out. Because she pulled out with some of the big wins too, like Minone and Taylor. She was supposed to fight Minone, Taylor. She was supposed to fight Montana once. Who else was she supposed to fight? I'm trying to remember because I did a video talk. Luana Carolina. She was supposed to fight a lot of people, but she pulled out of all these fights. You know? So with somebody that pulls out that many times, that's almost like L's in a way, because you never make it to the octagon and you're kind of wasting everybody's time. So if you don't show up, or if you lose this fight, and they'll say, oh, well, next fight we give her, she might not show up for another year. We might as well just cut this dead weight. They could see it that way. I'm just saying. I mean, she, like I said, she has some injury receipts to back it up, then I don't know. They might keep her. But Marina has those two things that she needs. Like I said, this has to be a win. This has to be a big win. She got to show up because Agapova is not playing. Like I said, Agapova is a little bit more evolved, I think, in certain things. I know Marina Moroz has the experience. She definitely has some veteran tricks about her. You know, good boxing and wrestling. But anything can happen in this fight, especially when you've been out for 2 years. I mean, look, Marina Moroz looked good in her last two fights against Mazo and Silva. She looked way better against Silva, Mayra Bueno Silva, than Montana did. Of course, Montana was a draw. But Marina Moroz had a solid win against Mayra Bueno Silva. I mean, she schooled her. So we got to give her credit on that. And she schooled Sabina Mazo. So people forget about that. Like Marina Moroz, when it comes to her technique and style, I give her a lot of credit. Skill-wise, she's a good fighter. But when it comes down to her dedication, I don't know where that's at right now. Her dedication has kind of got a question mark on it. So, yeah, she's got to show us an improved fighter going in here, man, because I think Agapova is on her game. And she got to stop Agapova, to me. Because she got to stop her, or at least beat her like she did. Beat her like she did to Mazo and Silva. Because if she don't, she could be on the chopping block. I mean, she got to make people forget that she pulls out of fights. You know, she got to make people forget that her pullout game is strong. So she got to go and look like a next level fighter. You know, sharp. Let's see here. Yeah, sharp and dedication, man. Marcus said another fighter that could get cut. Yeah. 2B said Marina just literally needs to show up. Then we could talk about tools and skills for her. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, come on. Let me look at her resume. Yeah, she pulled out quite a few. She pulled out a number of times, you know. But the one thing that she always has going for her is just her ability to actual fight. Like I said, I don't know why she keeps pulling out of these fights, but she can show up and do her thing, man. Because like her skill set is impressive. Just haven't seen much of it lately. I mean, we go to her IG and we see a lot of other stuff, man. We're seeing a lot of other stuff from her. You know, similar to Tracy Cortez. So, I mean, some of these women, they're just off doing other things. But I'm just saying, man, like if they get caught up in these dangerous fights, I mean, shoot, we know what it is. I mean, Minone and Taylor, I can see the mind frame she's been in. I don't know if she could have handled them. I don't know. She has a better chance against Agapova than she would have had against Minone or Taylor, though. But yeah, she's one that has to show up, though. Got to show up and work, man. All right, let's go to the third here real quick before I jump off here. So yeah, Casey O'Neill. Like I said, another one here. Casey O'Neill is one that talks with confidence. Talks with confidence. A lot of people believe in her right now. Coming off of a 3-fight win streak in 2021. She's another one that, just has to keep sharpening herself up from here, because the more people push her, the more people hype her, the more they're going to want to see her in these bigger fights, And she's looking good on the level she's on, right? Casey's looking good on the level she's on right now, but the way they're pushing her could very much wind up like Macy Barber. Like her situation is very similar. Like the way she's getting pushed. Now, the way she's training and the way she's improving, I'm not going to say that, because she still has a few more technical skills I like about her a little bit more than Macy Barber. But the more that the UFC pushes her, they're going to start matching her up with tougher fights that she has to be prepared for, right? So that's where I was getting at with yesterday. Like, you don't always have to jump at the opportunity, especially when you have youth on your side. Casey is, how old is Casey? I don't want to lie. Was she 26? Casey O'Neill is 24. 24 years old. Last year, let's see, when she was in UAE for one fight, 23 years old, but still, like, that's a good time to still kind of work and learn, especially when you know that the flyweight division is evolving. You still can take the time. That's why when people tell me, oh, man, like, opportunity is there, you got to take it. Not necessarily. I mean, you could take the opportunity and fall into a pit of sharks that you're not ready for, right? Of course, she looks ready because the competition that she's fighting right now is not on her level, right? Shannon Dobson's gone. So, Laura Procopio's gone. Who else did she beat? Antonia Shevchenko on the breach of getting cut, possibly. I mean, if she doesn't beat Courtney Casey. So everybody she's fought is gone. I think a lot of people don't mention that, but yeah, Casey O'Neill looks good on the level she's on with this level of competition. But this Roxanne fight is going to answer a lot of questions, man. That's why she has to make sure that she's sharper than she was in these 3 fights combined, because Roxanne is none of these 3 fighters. She's neither of these 3 fighters. I mean, she's 25-20, but those 25 wins, especially as of late, Roxanne's taking some of these fighters to school. She's taking these hype fighters to school. Shevchenko fight was close though, but Macy, she took her to school, beat Andrea Lee. So Roxy has a lot to offer here. 45 fights compared to 8 fights. Anything can happen here. Anything can happen. But Casey has to make sure that she's sharper than the last few fights that she was in. That's all I'm saying. Like, gotta be next level here. Gotta be next level. Gotta be physical strength in there. Gotta be improved striking. And it has to be a dominant victory. You have to make the statement because everybody's hyping her up now. It's got to be dominant. Because if you mention yourself in the name, if you mention your name with the likes of Valentina in one day, we need to start seeing that skill set now then. Because she's ranked. She's ranked. And I promise you this, if she does beat Roxy, they will push her into a top 10 very quickly. Ernest said Casey's going to get humble, but she stops Roxy in the retirement. Just remember, Casey passed on a fight with Macy. I give her a pass for the Macy fight, though, because that was kind of a short notice, and her team told her to do that because they wanted to make sure, she had just came off a fight. So I'm going to give her a pass for that one, Brian. I'm going to give her a bit of a pass for that because it was a short notice there. Ernest, yeah, it's going to come somewhere along the lines, but I don't know if she stops Roxy, though. I don't see how she does it. if some of these other bigger fighters couldn't stop her. But yeah, it's getting real out here, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know she's on a 3-fight win streak. She stopped everybody, but I'm talking about the quality again. Like we're saying, Marcus, quality over quantity. I see what you can do against this level, but if you don't have certain things that I'm looking at that only I can see and tell you about whenever it's over, then I'm just being honest. I'm just telling you, okay, this is what she needs to do. If she doesn't have this, then so-and-so in the top 10 is going to give her problems, right? That's all. What else? What else about her? Because she is the one, undefeated right now. A lot of talk for her, a lot of hype behind her. Let's see. Yeah, sharpening up. That's what I'm just saying. Like, it has to be a different fighter against Roxy. It just has to be a sharper and improved, deadly one. Got to go in there and stop her or submit her to make us believe, I think. Got to keep the stoppage streak going. 2B said Casey needs defense and stand-up improvement, slightly more technique with the grappling. That's all I'm saying. Like, people think that's hate when I say that. But, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, defense has to be tight. Stand up, can't be flat on your feet, running in with shots. You can't get sloppy on the ground with Roxy. That's what people forget, too. Like, if it goes to the ground, they think her grappling is going to overpower Roxy. But Roxy's a black belt. Come on. Roxy's a black belt. So Roxy is going to be looking for those mistakes. The same mistake Antonina found that almost got Casey in a crucifix. I'm sure Roxy could find that. Roxy will want it to go to the ground, possibly early on, I think Roxy would favor the ground or the range more so than the clinch. Like, Roxy might not want the clinch because she's going to kind of wear down there being older, but straight up ground is probably what she'll look for. 2B said quality of competition is relatively even between her and Manon, though, in my opinion. I give Manon the edge as far as competition because I think Mayra Bueno Silva was a better quality of opponent than her opponents. And the only thing I'd say was lacking about Tabitha Ricci, of course, is the size. But, she still has some good attributes about her. She just couldn't handle somebody that big, right? Everybody else is gone, Like, Victoria Leonardo's on the verge of that, but Ricci's still on the come up. Mayra Bueno Silva still has a lot to offer. Yeah. 2B said Procopio was a black belt and Casey choked her out. Two different type of black belts, though. Look how Roxy works, though. When I mention black belt, I know people just think I'm throwing that out there. I'm talking about how it's applied, though. I'm talking about an actual experienced black belt in the UFC. I'm talking about UFC mixed martial arts black belt. Okay? That's a different quality. And on top of that, Procopio was still having success. Like, Casey choked Procopio out because she was gassing, and she was still a green UFC fighter, though. That's my point. Like, I'm not just throwing black belt out to say black belt. I'm talking about Roxy's black belt has a lot of notches on it. There's a lot of experience behind that. So if you go to the ground with Roxy, she's going to submit you before Procopio will. Right? Procopio, yeah, let's see. Marcus Bells, as of now, Gatto has beaten the quality of fighter in the UFC and Sarge. Yeah, she has. So let's jump to her next. But yeah, Casey got a lot of work to do. Like I said, still, 24 years old. There's a lot of work to do in there. And like I always say, I like to cap it off with, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Hold on, I'm flipping through some things here. Let's see, Jasmine. I'm looking at this article. Let's see, Jasmine just Jasmine Jazzy Vicious says her friend is getting a tattoo of her face after losing UFC bet. Explains why she wants to fight Casey O'Neill. Hold on, let me see here. So Jasmine wants to fight Casey O'Neill next. See, that's all right. See, Jasmine calling out the fighters around her. Where is it? Okay. It's pretty much whoever the UFC offers. I did have that King Casey O'Neill commented about my fight with a yawn emoji. So F it. If Roxanne pulls out, I want that fight as I know I'll beat her. I think that would be sick. I would love that opportunity because after I beat her, I'm in the top 15 just like that. Dang, Jasmine, boy. Jazzy says she wants to fight if Roxy pulls out. Dang, Casey's over here talking trash, though. She was talking trash about her performance. So I like this energy, man. I like this energy from both fighters. To be said, Myra absolutely quality, but Tabitha's a strawweight who's a grappler going against a longer, bigger striker. Yeah, of course. Like I was saying, though, my point about her, though, is she's still a young, fresh fighter. Like, she can still establish herself in the UFC versus a fighter like Shanna Dobson. Like, Shanna is gone now. Shanna had good moments, too, though. You know, Shanna still landed on Casey O'Neill. You know, she showed us some of the defense. The defensive holes in Casey O'Neill. Yeah, Marcus, definitely. If Casey loses to Roxy, then a fight with Jasmine would make sense. For sure. But I think right now, from here, Casey O'Neill beats Roxy, she fights up. You know. But yeah, if Roxy pulls out, I would throw Jasmine in there if she wanted it, though. Or Aaron. No, I would throw Aaron in there if she wants it. For sure. But let's talk about Gatto. So Gatto is another unranked fighter who shows a great deal of promise. You know, has a very, very impressive resume for her level. I mean, let's take a look at it here real quick. You know, I mean, she's been on a 3-year layoff. I mean, she did have the dark cloud over her head, like I like to say. 25 years old. Has a very long, lean, frame, physically strong. That could be very effective in this division. Beat Rosa, a very tough fighter a few years back. And, just has some very interesting styles of approaching her wins, early in her career. Good submission game, decent on the ground. Showed Sarge some of her jiu-jitsu when they fought. Stopped Sarge. So, I don't know, man. If anything, out of a lot of these lower-ranked fighters, Melissa Gatto, you have to say she has one of the most impressive. Sarge at 2-0 in the UFC, her win looks the most impressive. Sarge has never been stopped before. I think it would have came if she would have knocked out with a chin shot or a head shot. I think if she landed a big head shot, she would have got her out of there. But it was the body. That's what fooled me. I was like, wow, I didn't see that coming. So Gatto, she offers a lot with her technique as well. So she's one that is sharp and sharpening up as she goes along. Just looking at her training and keeping up with her on Facebook and so on, her social media, she's looking good. And I think she's one that, to get where she needs to go, she's got to make statements. She's got to continue to look like a killer, because right now, with the spotlight on Casey O'Neill and with fighters like Aaron Blanchfield, while they're doing a lot of talking, fighter like Gatto, she's going to kind of get lost in the mix because she's not as vocal, So she has to do like Manone and Taylor, just continue to take off heads and make people look. You got to speak loud with your actions like they do. That's what she has to do, in my opinion. So from moving forward from here, just keep sharpening up her stand up, because I think her stand up on this level is looking better than most of the girls down here. I think Gatto's stand up looks better than, looking at her early fights too, I think her stand up looks better than Erin's, honestly. I just think Erin has a good foundation of everything. But when it comes to just like picking a particular discipline, I'd say Gatto, her stand up looks better than Erin, Casey, Montana's, Jillian's, of course. I think her stand up, just looks sharper than theirs. Her strength on this level, also, I think she has that freakish strength for a fighter on this level over most of these fighters. Jiu-jitsu, very slick. Very, very technical with some of her moves on the ground. So a little bit more technical than Casey too. I think, yeah. I think she's definitely one that if she keeps going the way she's going, she will kind of surpass most of these fighters. No talking, just working and showing that skill set. But she's got, like I said, she's got to keep dominating. Same way she caused Leonardo to break that arm. Same way she kicked Sarge in the body and stopped her. Next few wins from here, she got to keep stopping people. Because if not, they're going to keep hyping Casey and Erin and these other fighters up. To catch up, she's got to keep doing it. Every fight has to be a statement. That's why I picked these 4 fighters, because every fight has to be a statement win for these fighters. Montana needs to make a statement to get into the top 15. Moroz, she's got to make a statement because she's been pulling out of so many fights. Casey's got to make a statement because, they're hyping her up right now. And, she's talking big game. Melissa got to keep getting statement wins, just to stay in the spotlight. Because, she's only 2-0, but I think a lot of people are missing her. They are kind of missing her as far as her technique, because I think her name should just be mentioned along everybody, though. I think she's kind of the ones that flies under the radar. I appreciate that, Marcus. He got it out. Get with Candy. What's up? She said Gatto looking good. She's in her top 3. Top 3 flyweights. Who you got in your top 3 flyweights? Get with Candy. Brian Williams Gatto said in an interview that they trained that liver kick. I'm sure they did, though, man. I mean, the way she threw it with the form that she had, I was like, it wasn't really just like a mistake kick or a fluke kick. It was like aim for it. One of them pressure point kicks or something. So yeah, Get What Candy said she has her in her top 3. Who is in your top 3? Like, who do you have as your top 3 flyweights as far as coming ups? Who else does that include? All right. But yeah, about 30 minutes. Yeah, that's all I want to talk about for now. I am going to get back on at 7. I got like 15 people. Make sure y'all hit the like button on the way out, because I'll get back on here in a minute, like in another 3 hours. Oh, give me this. Okay. Santos, Benone, and Gatto. Yeah, you can't go wrong with them 3. Can't go wrong with those 3. I'm telling you, just like off of the eye test of what they can do, you have to give these 2 credit. Well, not these 2, but Gatto. Gatto, you can definitely look at her style and say there's some danger to her. I mean, like I said, there's other fighters that get wins, but there's some that just look dangerous, man. Like they're trying to really break something. Marcus Gatto is my favorite fighter, but I'm paying attention to her. Yeah, she's So far, she's been fun to watch, man. Like, I won't say. Hold on. I want to go back and look at that push kick real quick. You see. Yeah, the way she throws it, definitely you can tell, like, I can see they train for that kick, the way they throw it. Like her form, like she'll deflect the punch upstairs, and as she's throwing it, as Sarge is throwing her right hand, Melissa Gatto is countering with that kick to the stomach. So as she leans her upper body away from the punch, she's extending that front kick out. So to lean back to get out of harm's way, and then that front kick is coming into the body. So that's defense and offense all at once. Pretty solid, man. Yeah, good example of defense and offense right there. Yeah, just looking at her frame too. She's a powerful fighter, man. But yeah, Jasmine, man. Jasmine says she wants to fight Casey. Hold on. There's always something brewing with these flyweights. But when it all comes down to it, I mean, it's interesting on the lower levels, but they still have a lot of work to do before they get into the title talks, though. Like, when you think of Caitlin Chikagan as still being a threat to these girls, to me, yeah, we still need to see a lot of these girls tested. A lot of them still have to be tested, because I'm still thinking that Caitlin Chikagan can still beat a lot of them. Like, you see, I ain't even talking about the champion, because that's just another realm. But, like, if Caitlin's going to be the gatekeeper, they're going to have trouble getting by her. Ain't even that she'll stop you. It's just the fact that she'll make you look bad. And that's where you have to start questioning these fighters' skill sets, when they get bested by a point fighter that you can't even hit clean. Let's see. To be said, Taylor Gatto, and after their fights, I'll decide on Minota Casey. Marcus Bell, there are fights that get wins, and some that just stand out along with the wins. Get with Candy. I'm not sure about Casey just yet. She be getting a hit flush and be losing. I'm not sure about Casey yet. She be getting hit flush and be losing, but pulls it off and wins. So I gotta see something. Casey, she need to see something. Yeah, she be winning, but hey, yeah, like, yeah, she'll be behind, but yeah, she pull out the win. But yeah, I got you, man. I need to see something. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's fun to watch on this level, but like, yeah, I need to see something. Mark Robinson, I haven't seen much of Jazzy. Can she grapple? Does she have much of a ground game? Her ground game is okay. Like, I've seen it in some of her early fights. She's pretty strong. She's a decent wrestler, but she's not really like, I won't say that's like her biggest threat. She's kind of a go with the flow type fighter. She can strike, or she can, or go to the ground. Either one. Neither really stands out over the other, which is kind of good, because, you need that basis, but you're going to need something to stand out here and there to really get big wins, Marcus said, who knew that Alexa Grasso was now in the top 15? Who was in the top 10? Who knew Alexa Grasso was now? Yeah, she dropped down like a couple weeks ago. V. Kendrick said, have you noticed, including champion, only strawweights and some bantamweights get main events? I think mainly strawweights. I wonder why no flyweights. I don't know why bantamweights get a lot of main events right now. I don't think they really need to, because bantamweights ain't really popping like that. Unless the champion, that's the only way it should be. Like, I don't know how these bantamweights get main events like flyweights should. The strawweights get them. I'm cool with that. Marina Rodriguez get as many main events as she wants. Andrade, yeah, that's cool with me. But yeah, I don't understand why bantamweights do. V. Kendrick said, why is flyweight your favorite division? I think strawweight is about to be even more exciting with the new matchups. Well, I like both divisions. I think they both have something to offer. I think the flyweights just has like a good mix at the bottom and in the mid part. I mean, strawweight I've been following for years, so it's kind of like a given. Like, their talent level is just so high. You know, I'm never gonna turn their fights off, but I think the bottom half of the flyweights is a little bit more exciting than the bottom half of the strawweights. That's just me though. I mean, you got like Lupe Godinez, Kay Hansen, and so on, but the bottom of the flyweights, you got girls like Gatto. Gatto actually looks exciting, a little bit more exciting than Lupe Godinez to me. Like Manon, Aaron Blanchfield, they seem a little bit more exciting than Kay Hansen and those fighters. I mean, I still like the strawweights though. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, it seems like they're thriving a little bit more. Which is why I don't understand why there is no main event though. Yeah, Brian, I would too. Yeah, Viviana Rujo and Andrea Lee would be a good main event. That would be a good main event. He said Mark said, yeah, I told you we need her, man. We need Caitlyn. Like I said, I can't cut somebody, or I can't co-sign cutting somebody that's always fighting and making weight, man. I just can't do that. V. Kendrick said, Lupe's fighting Carnelossi, yeah. I thought you meant Loma Labutni, but yeah, Lupe and Carnelossi are fighting next, right? Yeah, 135 is not really worthy of main events to me, unless it is Nunes and Pena rematch or something. You know, not even like a Holly Holm fight at this point could be a main event to me. Valentina's a main event. Viviana Rujo and Andrea Lee, that's a main event. Yeah. Mark Roberts says, I feel bad for Irene. She needed that GDR fight. I kind of wish they would give Irene the next title shot. I think she could beat Pena, but Nunes gets it, of course, if she wants it. Yeah, I think Irene could beat her. You know, I think her style would just kind of favor that. But Irene, yeah, that GDR fight, man. I wish she could have got that fight. Brian said Valentine doesn't really care about the entertainment aspect of her fights. Kids remember Sonya Dawn was randomly in the corner. They had to lift her off. They had to lift her up after one round. Oh, yeah. Irene, one of my favorites. I don't know that she beats GDR, though. Yeah, I think style-wise, I think Irene has a better chance of beating Pena than beating GDR, though. I think it would be a good stand-up fight, though. Her and GDR. Let's see, man. You know, who is Jasmine's gym anyway? Because Jasmine's gym, not Jasmine's gym in particular. I don't think it is. Let me make sure first. Hold on. Ooh. Okay, no, she doesn't train with them. Did she used to train with Roxy? I thought I saw some pictures of them together. Because I was about to say, man, Jasmine, Roxy, and JoJo all have some type of beef with Casey O'Neill right now. That's crazy, man. They all, that might be a fight lined up though. JoJo and Casey might be next if she beats Roxy. Yeah, Jazz is a wrestler. Yeah, I'd say that's what I was saying. That probably would be her biggest thing. That's why she does a little bit of everything. And that's why, Kay Hansen was, I mean, factor in her size, but that was one reason Kay Hansen was struggling to take her down. Right. But yeah, let me get up out of here. I'm gonna come back on here at 7 o'clock, do a little bit more talking. Just had to jump on here and talk about these particular fighters to talk about, just to kind of break down their skills and what they, well, not break down the skills technically, but just the fact they need to sharpen up and they got to make statement wins in their next fights. Because let's see, Montana is taking on Macy, Marina Moroz, Casey, Roxanne. Melissa Gatto, I don't know who she lined up to take next. She could be taking on Jillian Robertson. Who knows? Jillian Robertson, Aaron Blanchfield. Who do y'all want to see Melissa Gatto fight next? Before I go, who do y'all think who do you think Melissa Gatto should fight next? Out of those fighters, Blanchfield or Robinson? Blanchfield or Robertson? GDR is out of the rankings. Do you remember what the deal with that was? I think it had to do with her not getting vaccinated or something like that. GDR, she's still in her country. Her not getting vaccinated or something like that. Yeah. Jan Janan is training with Uriah Faber. Yeah. Yep, she sure is. Yeah. Yeah, because I was talking about that in the video the other day. Jan Janan said that he was really helping her put together jiu-jitsu and wrestling, because she was saying how where she used to train, it was always like a separate thing, but working with them, they've kind of been helping her put it all together. Mm-hmm. Brian Williams said whichever gets Gatto closer to the rankings. Yeah. Whichever one, right? It might be, I bet you the Blanchfield fight would definitely get her closer. Marcus said that's true with GDR. Yeah. But yeah, I'll be back on about 7 o'clock, and we'll go in a little bit more about some other fights. Still want to talk about Lemos and Andrade a little bit too with that 5-round fight. So yeah, man, make sure y'all hit the thumbs up on the way out, and see you in like 2 hours. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.